Hello, and welcome to Tips of the Day for Single Moms of Faith by Dr. Chanel. I am Dr. Chanel Serano, and if you've been following me the last few weeks, I have been focusing on providing leadership style tips as well as parenting tips and parenting styles, and how to engage in self-care for yourself as a single mom. But before we get into all of that, I really wanted to hone in on today's topic, and that is how to determine your God identity and how that creates a path for your God-designed purpose to be revealed to you. So for those of you who know me or know me well, I am the author of CoParenting with Christ, 9 Steps to Achieving Harmony, which you see on the back here, both the book and the workbook. But I'm also working on my second book, and it is called, or it is about, the book of Esther, where I'm really talking about your God-designed purpose and how to prepare for your God-designed purpose. I go into conversations about distractions to your God-designed purpose, the character of Esther, and really how the book of Esther really plays into our development of God identity and God purpose. And so as I was writing today, I wanted to take a few minutes to really share how you can develop who you are in God, your God identity, and share a couple tips. Okay, so the first thing, if you again have been watching some of my previous videos, I was sharing about God identity and what that is, and the difference between God identity and the roles or the many hats, the many responsibilities that we may have. And so oftentimes the line between the two are blurred. Your God identity is who you are in Christ. That is your own personal relationship with God, okay? And how he sees you as his daughter. And if you're a man watching this video, how he sees you as his son, okay? So we get into sonship, fathership. But God identity really hones in on your relationship, that vertical relationship between you and God. So how he sees you in his eyes, right? For me, I'm a daughter of the King, right? I'm a daughter of the Most High God, a change agent, a prayer warrior, an intercessor. Okay, these are the various identity, right? God identity, the ways in which I connect with God. And the roles that we play, or the many hats that we wear, the responsibilities that we engage in, such as, for me, again, I'm a mother, I am a leader, a supervisor, I'm an author, I'm a blogger. And so these various roles or hats that I wear, these are in relation to other individuals, to other people. That's a horizontal line, right? Very different from, again, that vertical relationship, that relationship between you and God. So God identity, meaning who you are in Christ, how God sees you, Proverbs 31 woman, Titus 2 woman, versus who you are as far as the roles that you play or the many hats that you wear in relation to other people, okay? And when you know who you are, have a strong God identity that allows you the ability to play the different roles and wear the many hats more efficiently, okay? So before we actually move into your God designed purpose and how that all plays into that, I wanted to give some tips on how to develop or how to learn on who you are in Christ. And so the very first thing that I wanted to share is prayer, okay? And this is actually after giving your life to Christ. So again, by me being a woman of faith, I have a biblical worldview. And so this is, of course, based upon once you've given your life to Christ and you're wanting to develop in your relationship with him and learning to understand and develop your God identity, okay? So tip number one is through prayer. And I know sometimes, people feel that we need to have this very elaborate, sophisticated prayer with thee and thou and so on. And if that's the way you speak, then go ahead and do so. I'm not knocking you for that, but God knows who you are. God knows your heart. God created you. And so purely having a conversation with him. I know for me, when I have prayer time with God, I talk to him throughout the day. And it's not only about me venting or about me asking for or having a request, but it's also about listening as well. And so as you begin to develop that relationship with God, understanding that God speaks to each of us very differently. So for me, he may speak to me through dreams. For someone else, he may speak to them through the word or a combination of different things. So as you begin to develop your God identity and your relationship with him, you'll begin to understand how he speaks to you, how he communicates with you. So prayer, ensure that you are creating that time, making that a priority. May it be the first fruits of the day when you first wake up and allowing that time between you and God. May it be at the end of the day, okay? But definitely I encourage you to do so and have that time with God throughout the day, even when driving to work, right? And having that time, just you and God. So prayer is very important, okay? Tip number 2 is through fasting. And for some of those who are not familiar with fasting, I would encourage you to get the book. And actually, I left it in the other room, but to get the book that is by Pastor Franklin called Fasting. And he wrote this book. I'll leave the information in the comments below or in the link. But he wrote this book some years ago, and he really focuses on fasting and different types of fasting. And so traditionally, fasting may be seen as where you're not eating food, right? Maybe it is you're drinking water throughout the day. And before even getting into what type of fast, looking at the time frame. Some individuals may do it between a certain time, maybe from 12 noon to maybe 6 p.m., really focusing in on within that time frame. May it be a short time frame, may it be fasting your lunch period or fasting dinner or fasting for one day, fasting for 2, 3 days, right? Or fasting for one day a week. I know some individuals who engage in that practice as well. But it's not only about the time period that you fast, but how you use that time when you're fasting. So fasting is really about sacrifice. It's really about sacrificing of the flesh, sacrificing in the natural in order to strengthen your spirit man, if you will, and being able to seek clarity and wisdom and understanding through God. Okay. And so I definitely encourage people to fast. If you have a medical condition, that's something that you would need to speak to your doctor about. You may also have the option, again, if you have a medical condition or for whatever reason, you may not be able to fast food per se. There's also a juice fast. There's a Daniel's fast, 21-day Daniel's fast. So definitely look into that. But you also have the ability to fast an activity for a certain amount of time, okay? Again, should in case you have a medical condition in which fasting of food would not be a healthy choice or an option for you, fasting an activity may also be a different option that you can look into as well. And then again, when you're fasting, making sure that you are creating time, being purposeful, being intentional on having that time with God and really seeking that wisdom, okay, during this time as you're asking him for his wisdom on how to proceed in a situation in your life, okay? So that was tip number 2. The next tip I would definitely share would be journaling. I am a big journaler, if you will, if there's such a term. Obviously, I love to write, but journaling is very therapeutic. I know we use it in therapy, we use it in counseling quite a bit, but journaling is really the practice of writing down, and it's part of the reflective or part of the reflection process. And it allows you to really sit down and as God is sharing things and revealing things to you through prayer, as he's revealing direction, instruction to you through prayer, through fasting, Having a journal, a notebook nearby you, just to jot down what God is putting in your heart, or questions that you may have to share, or things that are being opened up and needing to be explored a little bit more and analyzed. Okay, so that was step number 3, or tip number 3, journaling. The next tip is mentorship. I am a huge proponent to having a mentor. And for those further down the line, also being a mentor to someone else, which is the season that I'm in as a Titus 2 woman. I have individuals who I mentor as well. But seeking a mentor for yourself, and I have mentors. I definitely encourage you. I have a professional mentor. So before I make career decisions, career moves, I speak to my professional mentor, spiritual mentor, academic mentor. But as it pertains to this particular area, as we discuss God identity, I would definitely encourage you to seek a mentor, an older woman who's in the church, someone who you've seen the fruit, and you continue to see God's fruit in their life day in and day out. Someone whom you trust, someone whom you can really sit down and ask questions and really allow them to speak into your life, speak goodness and righteousness into your life. And before you're making decisions, that you feel comfortable speaking with this individual and that they're going to be giving you sound, godly wisdom. Okay, so that is step or tip number 4. And the last tip in developing your God identity would be fellowship. And fellowship is really the importance of connecting with other individuals in your life, other women, especially for me as a single woman of faith, a single mom of faith, even though my son is 19, going on 20 now. It's vital over the years that I had someone who I was able to fellowship with, and being able to do life together and ask questions. And even in my group that I have now, I'm one of quality and not quantity. So I have a very, very small select group of individuals, of women who I really fellowship with or come together with. We may have conversation. We may have Bible studies together when we're going through challenges in our life, spiritual challenges, spiritual warfare and attacks. I know that all I need to do is send a quick text to one of my close girlfriends in my fellowship group and say, hey, I just need you to pray. And even if I'm not in a space to go into detail about what the issue may be, once I'm sending a text saying, I need you to pray, immediately they go into action. They stop what they're doing, and vice versa. They send me a text message asking me to pray right then and there, or they call me real quick and say, hey, I'm going through something. And being able to share godly wisdom with you, share scriptures with you, pray with you. And sometimes, even in your most challenging times, knowing that you have someone there to help walk you through, right? God is the one who leads us, but God has also created us to be in connection with others. So having other individuals who know the word and who have the fruit of God in their life as well, who can walk life with you, is vital. So I hope this has been helpful today as we have discussed God identity. So before we can get into parenting styles and leadership styles and different topics that I've shared, I thought it was very important that we actually take a step back and focus on the root, and that is God identity and how to develop who you are in Christ. So again, a recap, understanding that your identity in Christ is that vertical relationship between you and God. And that's very different from the roles and the hats or the many responsibilities that we play, okay, in relationship to others. And we do that, we develop that God identity through, again, prayer, through fasting, journaling, seeking a mentor, and fellowship. Very important. So I hope these tips were helpful. And again, as with anything else in life, remembering that parenting is not a destination, but it is a journey. God bless you, and I'll see you next time for our video on developing your God-designed purpose. Take care, and God bless.